Another day, another round of major tech company quarterly reports. It is Amazon and Apple's turn to drop their numbers after the bell. Analysts estimate that Amazon's earnings per share are going to drop 47% from a year ago to $836. Total revenue, the forecast, $166.3 billion. Meanwhile, Apple investors are going to take a very close look at product demand. They're anticipating an earnings per share number of $1.43, revenue coming in $93.89 billion. Joining me now with what to expect is Neuberger Berman Senior Research Analyst Daniel Flax and MarketWatch Tech Editor Jeremy Owens. It's great to have you both here.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here.
All right, Dan, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about Apple. There's so many questions here about not just iPhone production in China, but the fact that there's big concerns about what's going to happen with regards to the iPhone numbers. Are you worried at all because of these lockdowns?
I think the lockdown, sure, will be a factor in the near term. But what we're focused on is that even in the face of a challenged smartphone market, the Apple installed base is continuing to grow. The iPhone experience is differentiated. Users are very satisfied. And so when we step back and look at the overall story, you have a healthy iPhone franchise, Mac with the reinvention of the Mac with the Apple Silicon, services, wearables, and iPad. And so it's this broadening of the growth drivers, a lot of innovation, and a very vibrant ecosystem that I think sets Apple up well over the next 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, you know, and Jeremy, I've got the numbers that we're looking for here in front of me, and the iPhone, the expectation is that we're going to see, like for the iPhone, 47.88 billion within the report, iPad 7.14 billion. All the pressure really is on the iPhone numbers.
Well, Apple is an iPhone business. I mean, that is the majority of its revenue. That's where the profit really stems from, although it does have these other growing businesses, especially the Mac. But yeah, it's all on that iPhone. And Tim Cook is such a great supply chain massager that I think any issues they may have from the shutdowns or anything, he knows how to paper over that. And I think we're going to see that in this report. And I think Wall Street's really going to be looking for any kind of forecast, any kind of color they give moving forward, because that's really what's more important going into the rest of the year.
I'm curious how they're going to pull up that forecast, though. Dan, back to you on this, because again, I go back to the lockdowns in China. That's their second largest market. But then also the fact that you've got this inflationary environment. You had this negative read on GDP this morning. I mean, all of this is the economy. And if I'm paying too much at the gas station, I'm paying too much at the grocery store, am I going to go out and buy a new iPhone? I don't think I am.
I think those elements that you note, certainly inflation is higher, the gas prices are higher. There are a lot of factors that are near-term headwinds, I think, for the consumer. And of course, we're entering a seasonally weaker period for the iPhone. However, if you step back and think about the utility of the device, as long as customers stay in that Apple ecosystem, as long as they consume services, as long as they ultimately do upgrade, I think that's what's important to the health of the iPhone business over the longer term.
Jeremy, speaking of health, the health business on Apple, in particular with the watch, there's a lot of exciting stuff that we're expected to hear about. Maybe not as much today, but certainly the buzz has been on the the EKG that you can get off your iPhone, blood oxygen levels, all that good stuff. And I've seen some commentary on the street that says that really that's where there might be a lot more growth when it comes to the wearable side of the business, the watch.
For sure. Apple definitely saw how Peloton worked it and wants to kind of get into that business, especially from a software and services perspective and with the watch. So they're definitely going to be doing that. The next generation of Apple equipment that we may see is some kind of AR headset, which can also be used for exercise. We've definitely seen some virtual reality and augmented reality uses in the exercise and health field. If they do manage to come out with that anytime soon, I imagine they will really play that up from a marketing perspective to try to round into that same type of thing.
Yeah. Dan, let's move to Amazon now. Obviously, it's all about the web services. I mean, we know that. That's always the big story when it comes to Amazon's numbers. 18.15 billion is the estimate here. But again, that inflation story goes back to now they're having to charge. They put out this fuel surge charge. Excuse me. They're under pressure as well. The sellers are going to have to raise prices. I think Amazon's going to have to raise prices. What do you think we're going to hear from Amazon?
I think we'll see a continuation of their focus on putting the customer first, because really it's this obsession with the customer that drives the company. But there are headwinds, the supply chain, logistics, higher costs, fuel prices, and so that is finding its way into the system. It can be a headwind for demand as well as raising cost. I think, though, the fact that the company's been able to invest and execute so well through the last couple of years, they're putting in capacity, and so you're going to see more and more one-day delivery as part of the Prime membership. And so that makes Amazon more valuable coming out of this, but certainly near-term headwinds for sure.
Yeah, Jeremy, are you worried about the union movement that we've seen in Amazon? I mean, it's some facilities now, but there's a growing concern that Amazon is going to have this problem across the country.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, we actually just wrote a story comparing it to the unionization efforts at Walmart that were never successful. These efforts have already been more successful than any effort at Walmart ever was. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how they combat that. You know, Amazon does have the new CEO, Andy Jassy. Is he going to go out there and be really hard against the unions, or is he going to try to work with them? That's something that's really going to define his leadership at Amazon.
Jeremy, I know we got to run, but how involved is Bezos at this point with Amazon?
It doesn't seem like much. I mean, he's still the chairman.
Yeah.
So he still does, run that board. He's still around. But it's a delicate line to walk when you put somebody in charge as CEO. How you navigate that line of when to step in and when to not is extremely important. And he ran that company for so long. I think he's probably enjoying his time away from the day-to-day.
He is building a very large yacht. Actually, I think it's done. Now he just has to get it out from where he built it in Europe. Another story. Jeremy Owens, Dan Flax. Guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.